My royal day can be a royal bore. It leaves me colder than a basement floor. The only moments I keep waiting for is when the day will be through. I never notice if it's dark or clear. What people say to me I hardly hear. The passing hours are like an endless year, until at last I'm alone with you. Every night at 7 you walk in as fresh as clover, and I begin to sigh all over again. Every night at 7 you come by like May returning, and me oh my, I started yearning again. You seem to bring faraway spring near me. I'm always in full bloom when you're in the room. For every night at 7, every time the same thing happens, I fall once again in love, but only with you. You seem to bring faraway spring near me. I'm always in full bloom when you're in the room. For every night at 7, every time the same thing happens, I fall once again in love, but only with you. I fall once again in love, but only with you. I love this song. It's from the movie Royal Wedding with Fred Astaire and Eleanor Powell, a fantastic dancer. She was very, very overlooked by Hollywood in a lot of ways. She had a lot of talent. But let's see with the song, Every Night at 7. There's a lot of weird things that go on in here. It's in the key of F, which sounds really easy, right? It's F, B flat, and C7, and you could probably play it that way. There's an A minor in it you need. But jazz-wise chord structure, I've got some other things going on in here, but don't be scared away from them, because as usual I'm going to give you some tips. And it starts out, the very first chord is an F, and the next chord is an F sharp diminished. I have on the paper F sharp small letter D for diminished to save a little space. And if you know what a C diminished is, C diminished 7 or whatever you want to call it, it's when all 4 strings are covered at 2 3 2 3. And I'm not going to go into all the theory because I don't understand the theory, but in this particular case it's called an F sharp diminished because it's coming after an F. Usually the name reflects the chord it follows, the way I understand it. Okay, so here it's an F sharp diminished. You may know it as a C diminished. 2 3 2 3. And then a B flat, so you just swing it around, there's your B flat. The next chord coming up is an F, and the next chord coming up is a C minor 6. Now you may know a C minor, but a C minor 6 is you're going to bar at the 2nd fret, and then take what I do is my middle finger, the fleshy part of my finger here, is on the 1, 2, and 3 string. So it's 2 3 3 3. That's C minor 6. And I'll zoom you up in a minute to a way to make this easier for you to practice, to play with, okay? The next chord here is probably the trickiest chord you're going to have in the whole song because it incorporates all 4 fingers and in kind of an unusual shape, and it's a G sharp 7. And we're used to playing a G7 down here in some fashion, right? But we got to sharp it. So either you can bring it up here, that same shape, and just play the 1, 2, and 3 string. It doesn't work with all 4. Or you can learn to bar it. And barring here, if you make a G, you already got these 2 fingers in the game. These guys are already playing in the game if you play bar chord G, or moving that shape up and down. This guy is lazy. You haven't put him into the game yet, and you need to for this particular chord. Unless you play, maybe he's gotten into the game when you play a D like this. When when you barred at the second fret and you throw a pinky up there. So maybe you do have him in the game, but in this particular chord you're going to need him in the game because it's going to be barred at that first fret, and then I use my middle finger on the second fret, second string. I use my ring finger on the third string, third fret, and my pinky down on that first string, third fret. So it's 1, 3, 2, 3, and it sounds like this. And the nice part about this, well, we're going to go from a C minor 6, which is 2, 3, 3, 3, to a G sharp 7. So we're going to slide it down. Our middle finger is on that second fret already. We're just going to pick it up and put it on that second string. Now we got to train these guys to get into position. And literally, when I first started doing these, retraining my fingers to move separately, there were times when I would literally have to go like that for him to learn where he needed to go. Just like a strong-willed child, you may actually place your hand on their head and turn their head and give them a little nudge to where you want them to go. Sometimes we have to do that with our fingers because they've not been trained, they've not been taught the way to go. So it takes a little more guidance, and you may just literally have to pick up that finger for a while to do that, and it's worth it because you're going to be able to move this shape all the way up down the fingerboard. Then when you get all 4 fingers in the game, it opens up the game on an exponential level. Okay, so that's probably the trickiest chord you're going to have to learn, and it's not because it's that tricky, it's that he's lazy and dumb and you just need to train him to get into the game. Okay, so that's a G sharp 7. And the next chord is an F7, which I should be able to just pick up and play an E7 shape, but sometimes I get a muddy sound there because my fingers might go. So I still pick it up and do all 4 finger points for that. A little more energy consumed there, but that's an F7. Okay, so then that's pretty much, we have a D minor 7 and a G minor 7, and that we know our F7 there. So we have our pinky planted here, and we already have we have our F chord shape here. If we move this ring finger down to the 3rd string, 2nd fret, now we have our D minor 7, right? And then the next chord is a G minor 7, which we have this one on the 1st fret, so we just swivel him down, cover the first 2 strings, and then middle finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And there's our G minor 7. That's it for the introduction part, the verse part. Now, there's a couple weird spots in the chorus part. Every night at 7, you walk in as fresh as clover. We're going to play that C minor 6, which again is barred at the 2nd, and then barred on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string on the 3rd fret. So it looks like this. That's a C minor 6. See if I can get that right there. And we're going to move this a little bit. And where the best place for you to work on this is, you're going to encounter it right away in every night at 7, A minor to a C minor 6. You walk in as fresh, F7, and B flat. I begin to B flat minor 6, open 1 1 1. Let's see. Sigh all over again, C7. And then F every night at A minor, C minor 6. Like May returning, and me, oh my, I started yearning again. Now this brings us to the part where it says, you seem to bring far away spring near me. And it's kind of a dissonant section through here. And on the paper, when you get the sheet, it may just say E7 to a C minor 6, and then to a A minor 6, to a C minor 6, E7, C minor 6. I'm not exactly sure at this time how I'm going to do this on the sheet. So since you're watching the video, you're going to get a bonus as to how I think it sounds best right now. I call these a framework for fun, and sometimes that's all they are when I'm done, because when I memorize things, I sometimes find a new way to tweak it. So here's how I'm playing this right now, is when we get to this section that says, you seem to bring far away spring near me. Right here, barred at the 4th fret, and placed on the 5th fret 1st string is an E7. You seem to bring D minor, C minor 6, far away spring near me. Now this didn't sound quite right to me, and it should, it works. But here's what I've been doing, and I've been playing a D minor 6 here, which is the same shape. Here we have a C minor 6, C sharp minor 6, a D minor 6, same shape, okay? So we're going to go, you seem to bring. So on bring, we're going from D minor 6 to E7. All we did was pick it up and put it down on the first string, down to the second fret, C minor 6. Far away spring. So you went from a C minor 6 to a D7, back up to the fourth fret, near me. Just hold the C minor 6, then back up to the E7, or the D minor 6. I'm always in full black, down to a G minor 7, bloom. When B flat minor 6, you're in the room. For every night at 7, every time the same thing happens, I fall once again in love, but only with you. And I ended it on, this is an F6, barred at the 5th fret. It's also D minor 7. So the takeaway on this is, yes, there are a couple of weird chords, but here's a fun way to get your fingers trained, okay? And if you're not used to barring, this is a good place to practice this particular shape because it's repetitive. It's a repetitive motion on 2 different frets. You seem to bring a faraway spring near me. Hold it. I'm always in full bloom when you're in the room. For every night at 7, every time the same thing happens, I fall once again in love, but only with you. Fun song. By the way, it is in this key of F, which is what Fred Astaire sings it in on the video. If you look it up on YouTube, you can play along with him. It might not mesh perfectly because the uke's 4 strings and they're working with a full orchestra in the movie, so it might sound a little funky, but you can play along with them, and at the very minimum you can play along with me. But use this takeaway to get your fingers used to moving around that fingerboard. And remember, don't choke your ukulele because you will hurt your hands. Just give it enough pressure to get a clean sound, and take your thumb along for the trip. Remember, leave him behind your hand as you move him. Don't leave him here as a long-handed man named me did and hurt your thumb. Keep him behind the players. He's the coach behind the team, okay? So when you're bar chording, you're going to take that thumb and take him along for the trip. Have a great time with the song every night at 7. You can even play it at 8 if you want to. Great song. UkesterBrown.com. Every night at 7. Have a great day.